Portofino, Italy, isn't just a scenic getaway. It's a portal to historical treasures submerged beneath its azure waters. The seabed around this coastal paradise is a repository of tales from bygone times, tales narrated through the numerous shipwrecks that rest along the reef floor. Divers, both amateurs and seasoned, flock to Portofino, tempted by the allure of underwater exploration. The iconic statue, Christ of the Abyss, stands sentinel over this marine burial ground, greeting divers with a benevolent gaze. However, the true rewards of Portofino's waters require a deeper descent, where ships from forgotten eras await rediscovery. Each dive is an expedition through time, and every artifact holds a story waiting to be unraveled. The emblematic statue Christ of the Abyss stands as a silent sentinel, beckoning adventurers into the watery graveyard. However, it's the hidden gems lying further below that truly offer the promise of discoveries untold. Sunken U-boat at the bottom of the Mediterranean reveals a chilling World War II tale. The Mediterranean Sea, with its vast expanse, has been the watery grave for many a vessel. However, the discovery of a German submarine among the shipwrecks came as a startling revelation. This wasn't a wreckage that casual divers could stumble upon during a leisurely dive. It lay ensconced 300 feet beneath the surface, presenting a daunting challenge even for seasoned divers. Approaching the submarine, the daring divers encountered an eerie and remarkable sight, a juxtaposition of wartime machinery and nature's reclaiming power. The submarine's positioning in its aquatic grave was a spectacle in itself. Although the topmost part of the vessel was accessible at 300 feet, the base lay even deeper, kissing the ocean floor a full 100 feet below. In a dramatic twist, the submarine had embedded its nose into the ocean bed, tilting upwards at a 45-degree angle. This dramatic pose resembled a broken limb, jutting out awkwardly, lending a surreal feel to the entire underwater landscape. The U-455 wreck is not for the faint-hearted or the inexperienced. The daunting depths, coupled with the unpredictable underwater currents, make it a perilous journey. On stormy days, the path to the submarine is shrouded in inky darkness, with frigid waters intensifying the challenge. However, for seasoned divers and history aficionados, the sight of this unique U-boat is a prize that justifies the inherent dangers of the expedition. The U-455 was an engineering marvel of its time. This mammoth underwater vessel was powered by diesel engines, churning out a staggering 3,000 horsepower. Additionally, when submerged, its electric motors propelled it stealthily beneath the waves. As a war machine, it was formidable. Its arsenal was impressive, complete with advanced weaponry that made it a feared contender in naval warfare. The submarine's formidable armament boasted of 5 torpedo tubes, poised to unleash destruction upon enemy vessels. This wasn't all. The sub was also armed with a naval gun and an anti-aircraft gun to fend off attacks from above the waters. Operating such an advanced vessel required a skilled crew, numbering between 40 to 60, who were experts in naval combat. Yet, the U-455's most potent strategy was not a lone endeavor, but a collaborative one. With its intimidating dimensions of 200 feet in length and 52 feet in width, the U-455 often resorted to a tactical method known as wolf packs. Whenever an Allied ship was detected, a swarm of U-boats would converge on the target, launching a coordinated assault. Given this tactical proficiency, the events of April 2, 1944, remain a perplexing anomaly. For a submarine as formidable as the U-455, with its pack tactics and fierce weaponry, its mysterious disappearance was an enigma. While on patrol along the North African coast in April 1944, it lost communication with its brethren. Its abrupt radio silence was alarming, and by April 6, the worst fears were confirmed when the submarine was officially declared missing. In the wake of its disappearance, search parties were dispatched, combing the Mediterranean for any trace of the lost U-boat. The last known directive was its course towards Algeria. Yet, there were no exact coordinates, no SOS signals, and no debris. The submarine seemed to have vanished without a trace, deepening the mystery surrounding its fate. The U-455's enigma persisted for 6 long decades. The waters kept their secret until one fateful day when it wasn't just any diver who chanced upon the wreckage. It was Lorenzo del Veneziano, a maestro in marine archaeology. His monumental discovery not only resurrected the U-455 from oblivion, but also unveiled answers that had been shrouded in mystery for generations. As Lorenzo del Veneziano first descended upon the haunting remnants of the U-455, he was greeted by an enchanting sight. Nature had reclaimed the monstrous vessel. The underwater world, indifferent to the human histories and tragedies, had transformed the submerged behemoth into a thriving marine habitat. Schools of fish darted around the submarine's once mighty anchor, exploring the crevices, nooks, and crannies on its hull. A thick blanket of barnacles clung tightly to the corroded steel, silently narrating tales of decades gone by. Yet, beneath this lively marine tapestry, the U-455's formidable silhouette loomed. Despite the passage of time and the relentless siege by marine life, the submarine exuded an aura of power and mystery. Del Veneziano's seasoned eyes, well versed with many a maritime relic, were astounded by the details the wreckage presented. Certain segments of the submarine, such as the formidable guns and the navigational bridge, stood out, remarkably preserved amidst the decay. Yet, the sub's unusual tilt drew his attention to a disconcerting feature: a massive tear at the stern, a rupture too colossal to have been caused by mere aging and corrosion. With this eerie discovery, speculations ran wild. The initial hypothesis suggested that the U-455 met its fate at the hands of a fierce enemy onslaught. After all, the seas during wartime were treacherous, and even the mightiest of vessels had their vulnerabilities. It wasn't far-fetched to imagine that amidst a high-stakes naval confrontation, the U-455 had found itself overpowered and outmatched. However, this warfare-centric narrative began to wane as scholars delved into historical annals. A meticulous scan of combat records from that era revealed a startling fact. There was no documented naval skirmish in the vicinity where the U-455 had last been reported. The realization dawned that the submarine's sinking might not have been the outcome of a fiery battle as initially assumed. The pursuit of truth was far from over. Regardless of whether the submarine met its end in a blaze of glory against foes or met a more mysterious demise, it was imperative to uncover the facts. The memories of the 51 crew members on board, whose lives were inexplicably extinguished, hung heavily in the balance. Their families, even generations later, yearned for closure, and so the researchers continued their quest, even when the emerging theory seemed implausible. Given the U-455's design superiority and its capability to withstand formidable assaults, the notion of a mere mishap leading to its downfall was met with skepticism. Yet, as other leads ran dry, the accident theory began gaining ground. While validating such a hypothesis back in 1944 would have been a Herculean task, technological advancements by 2005 offered a glimmer of hope. Delving deeper with modern tools and 6 decades of enhanced maritime understanding, the analysts stumbled upon a chilling revelation. The U-455's final voyage had unwittingly taken it through a perilous minefield known as Fussball Club. Tragically, the crew, deprived of updated navigational charts, had unknowingly ventured into a death trap set up by their compatriots. The monstrous gash in the submarine's stern, once a puzzle, now had a heart-wrenching backstory. The U-455, likely attempting a routine maneuver, had inadvertently activated a mine. The resulting explosion had torn a massive 33-foot section off the submarine's rear, sealing the fate of the 51 souls aboard. This revelation reinvigorated the interest of marine archaeologists, eager to scrutinize the vessel further. Yet, respect for the dead and the sanctity of their final resting place was paramount. Recalling precedents from other nations, like Indonesia, where shipwrecks containing human remains were desecrated, stringent guidelines were put in place for the U-455. It became imperative to balance historical curiosity with reverence for the departed. Consequently, diving enthusiasts and researchers aspiring to visit the eerily tilted U-455 are mandated to maintain a respectful distance. However, for those still yearning for a closer encounter with wartime history, another relic beckons. A German U-boat, stationed just 150 feet beneath the waves, met its end in November 1917. Captain Gunther Waganko's fateful decision to surface for radio communication sealed its fate at the hands of the Royal Navy. The question remains: what tales, secrets, and mysteries did this U-boat take with it to the ocean floor? Over 100 years have elapsed, yet the allure of the sunken German submarine UC-47 still beckons marine historians and enthusiasts. Dr. Rodrigo Pacheco Ruiz, an esteemed academic from England's University of Southampton, heeds this siren call, spearheading an audacious expedition to uncover its enigmatic past. Nestled at a depth of 150 feet in the embrace of the ocean, the submarine's shadowy silhouette has remained concealed for decades. Now, thanks to a formidable team comprised of hydrographic surveyors and maritime archaeologists, a monumental breakthrough is achieved. Their advanced techniques allow them to capture the submarine's haunting imagery, offering the world a riveting visual narrative of a vessel that once lurked in the depths but was lost to time since 1917. The technological marvel employed for this expedition was a pair of cutting-edge underwater robots. These automated explorers, gliding effortlessly through the murky waters, meticulously documented every nook and cranny of the submarine's rusty skeleton. The duo streamed live footage, which when coupled with state-of-the-art echolocation devices, produced breathtaking three-dimensional visualizations. As a result, the world is now privy to the mesmerizing spectacle of UC-47 in its undisturbed, watery tomb, a poignant reminder of the relentless passage of time and the intricate tapestry of maritime warfare. The driving force behind Dr. Pacheco Ruiz's exploration wasn't just academic or historical curiosity. Lingering amidst the annals of history was a 103-year-old enigma surrounding the UC-47. After its sinking, whispers circulated suggesting the British naval forces had embarked on a fervent mission to extract something invaluable from the wreckage. Adding to the intrigue, the German military establishment seemed convinced that the British had indeed unearthed a priceless treasure from the sunken vessel. So, the question reverberated through the decades. What was the elusive prize the Royal Navy was so desperate to secure? Dr. Pacheco Ruiz and his seasoned crew believed they were on the cusp of unraveling this mystery. In a statement emanating from the hallowed halls of the university's Center for Maritime Archaeology, the team divulged insights into their painstaking endeavors to survey the enigmatic remains of UC-47. A reflective Dr. Pacheco Ruiz expressed, for years, the submarine was merely a notation on navigational charts, its mysteries lying untouched and obscured. It's truly an honor to unveil a maritime relic in such pristine condition and embark on a journey to decode its historical significance. But the intrigue was palpable. What transpired during UC-47's final moments and in the immediate aftermath remained shrouded in secrecy. What did the British pursue with such fervor? To fathom this puzzle, a journey back in time to understand the UC-47's origins was essential. What prompted her presence in the tumultuous waters of the North Sea near Britain's Yorkshire coast in that fateful November of 1917? Amid the throes of World War I, Germany had masterminded a formidable submarine armada. Their objective was unambiguous: cripple Britain's naval and merchant fleet, aiming to strangle the island nation into submission by severing its lifeline of essential supplies. This strategy was birthed in the early tumultuous months of 1915. However, Germany's aggressive submarine warfare met an abrupt hiatus towards the end of 1915. The catalyst for this cessation was the tragic demise of the RMS Lusitania in May of that year. This civilian vessel, ferrying passengers from New York to the bustling port of Liverpool, met its doom in mere 20 minutes after a German U-boat's torpedo found its mark. The catastrophe resulted in the tragic loss of 1,195 innocent lives. Among the casualties, 128 were American nationals. The sinking of a civilian ship with significant American fatalities stoked indignation in the United States, which had, until then, remained neutral in the First World War. President Woodrow Wilson conveyed his vehement condemnation, compelling Germany to temporarily relinquish its aggressive submarine tactics. However, this self-imposed restraint was short-lived, culminating by early 1917. Germany's U-boats, revitalized, once again lurked the oceans with a deadly purpose, decimating British and Allied shipping vessels. UC-47, operating under this renewed mandate, found herself patrolling the North Sea's waters in November 1917. A relatively new addition to the fleet, UC-47 had been christened at the AG Weser shipyard in Bremen, a major German port, merely a year prior in August 1916. The submarine's induction into the German naval might materialize the subsequent October. Despite her short operational lifespan of just 13 months, UC-47, under the astute leadership of Captain Lieutenant Paul Hundius, executed its mandate with ruthless efficiency. The unfettered license to wage unrestricted submarine warfare, bestowed upon it in January 1917, saw the UC-47 unleash maritime havoc, exemplifying the lethal prowess of Germany's U-boat fleet. From the outset of 1917, specifically January 31, until the dawn of October that year, Captain Lieutenant Paul Hundius and the indefatigable crew of UC-47 embarked on a maritime onslaught that few could rival. Their conquest spanned a myriad of vessels, from large steamers to the modest fishing boats. Sailing ships, once majestic in their glide, were felled alongside diligent Navy trawlers. The UC-47 even claimed the significant trophy of a formidable British destroyer. Predominantly, these vanquished vessels bore the proud ensign of Britain, yet the international toll included vessels from Greece, France, Italy, and Norway. The waters mourned the tragic descent of more than 50 ships during these months, with UC-47 and its crew at the epicenter of this naval devastation. However, as October 1917 dawned, a significant transition took place within the UC-47. Hundius, the commander synonymous with the submarine's reign of terror, stepped down. In his stead rose Oberleutnant Gunther Wiganko, who assumed the mantle of leadership. Fresh in his role from October 9, Wiganko was eager to uphold UC-47's legacy of maritime dominance. This determination bore fruit almost immediately. By October 18, under Wiganko's leadership, 2 British steamers had been consigned to the ocean's depths. As November unfurled its chilly embrace, UC-47's unyielding quest continued. The first fortnight alone witnessed the subjugation of 5 more vessels. 3 steamers, 2 British and 1 French, and a fishing boat sailing under the Netherlands flag. However, this Dutch vessel, which plunged to its watery grave on November 12, marked the culmination of UC-47's victorious streak. An unforeseen turn awaited Oberleutnant Wiganko and his crew along the rugged coastlines of Yorkshire in northern England. Among the German naval fraternity, UC-47 had earned a reputation akin to a talisman. Many sailors regarded her as a lucky submarine, a perception that held until that fateful day of November 18, 1917. Near Flamborough Head, a notable landmark on the Yorkshire coast, UC-47's destiny intertwined with HMS P-57, a vigilant British Royal Navy patrol boat. The day before, UC-47 had embarked from the Belgian port of Zeebrugge, armed with the mission to wreak havoc on enemy vessels off England's eastern shores. HMS P-57 was steered by the astute Lieutenant Commander Harry Burney, a stalwart of the Royal Naval Reserve. Interestingly, his leadership of P-57 began on October 23, merely a week after Wiganko assumed control of UC-47. The patrol boat itself was a product of the esteemed William Hamilton and Company shipyard in Port Glasgow, Scotland, having been commissioned in August 1917. P-57 wasn't just an ordinary naval craft. She was a part of an elite assembly of 60 vessels, specifically engineered to thwart the growing threat of German U-boats. Her design exuded stealth. With a low waterline profile, she could easily evade a submarine's periscope view. Her prow, fortified with hardened steel, was designed for aggressive ramming maneuvers against adversaries. A formidable 4-inch cannon adorned her, enhancing her offensive capabilities. Additionally, she was armed with an invention that terrorized submarines: depth charges. These devastating explosives, conceived by British ingenuity during World War I, could blast submarines from their watery sanctuaries. Any U-boat unfortunate enough to confront P-57 with her arsenal found itself in grave peril. For UC-47, that ominous encounter was imminent. The encounter transpired in the early hours of November 18. P-57, while on her vigilant patrol, stumbled upon the U-boat UC-47 vulnerably perched on the water's surface. This positioning puzzled historians and naval enthusiasts alike. Why would a U-boat, especially one so close, a mere 20 miles, to the hostile English coastline, expose itself in such a manner? Decades later, in 1997, this mystery possibly unraveled. Spearheaded by diver Sean Carr, an expedition descended to the sunken remains of UC-47. Among the submarine's skeletal remnants, they discovered its radio mast in a fully extended position. This offered a plausible explanation. Perhaps the UC-47, in its final moments, was attempting to establish a crucial radio link with its base in Bruges, Belgium. However, the events that led to UC-47's discovery by P-57 were as unexpected as they were fateful. The dim morning light had scarcely begun to penetrate the horizon when a vigilant lookout on P-57 reported a peculiar sight. What he assumed to be a buoy seemed amiss, especially since Lieutenant Commander Burney's navigational charts indicated no such marker in their vicinity. Intrigued and cautious, Burney steered P-57 closer, intending to investigate this anomaly amidst the vast expanse of the sea. The initial perception that the floating object was a buoy was quickly dispelled. The unmistakable silhouette of a submarine's conning tower emerged, shockingly close, only 200 yards away. Every nerve on board the P-57 tensed, and the atmosphere grew thick with anticipation. Lieutenant Commander Harry Burney's experienced eyes recognized the threat and opportunity immediately. Without hesitation, he shouted directives, and the P-57 agilely maneuvered with an aggressive thrust. P-57's reinforced prow collided with the submarine, tearing into the side of UC-47. The devastating impact pushed the German vessel beneath the waves, directing it to the rear of the British patrol boat. However, Burney's assault was far from over. Recognizing the submerged target was still a threat, he barked orders for the release of a depth charge. P-57 then masterfully pivoted, retracing its path above the spot where UC-47 had dived. Seizing the momentum, Burney directed the deployment of another depth charge, intensifying the onslaught. But Burney, ever the strategic thinker, knew better than to assume victory prematurely. He marked the site where the U-boat had vanished beneath the waves and adopted a patient stance. After an anticipatory pause, the sea's surface began to betray signs of distress from below. Bubbles of oil, a grim testament to the damage inflicted, began to rise. With pinpoint precision, Burney responded, launching yet another depth charge aimed at the emerging fuel's origin. The vigilant commander continued his watch, marking the precise location of the last depth charge deployment. P-57 stood its ground at the spot for the entire day and the subsequent night, ensuring no survivors from the U-boat could escape. Alas, the German vessel's fate became chillingly clear when not a single crew member surfaced. All 28 souls aboard UC-47 had tragically succumbed. This grim assessment was further confirmed when a minesweeper appeared, ensnaring the submerged U-boat with drag chains from the seabed. An attached explosive was set off, sealing UC-47's fate. Drawing from an August 2020 account in The Independent, it was revealed that P-57 didn't relent in its assault, even the day after the initial ramming. Another depth charge was sent plummeting towards the already beleaguered UC-47. The relentless British patrol boat maintained its vigil for nearly 3 days, observing air bubbles sporadically punctuating the sea surface, hinting at the chaos below. Elaborating on this relentless pursuit, The Independent mentioned that the barrage of depth charges continued even after UC-47's sinking. The rationale behind this action wasn't mere vengeance. The German vessel, now resting 150 feet below, housed something that the British were desperate to obtain. Smithsonian Magazine's August 2020 report suggested a tantalizing possibility for the British's sustained assault on the sunken U-boat. The aggressive depth charging might have been an effort to bring vital German documents to the surface, using the force of the blasts. What could have been so imperative in UC-47's inventory that the British went to such lengths? The answer lay in the realm of military intelligence. The British suspected that UC-47 held secret code books and navigation charts. These weren't mere documents but strategic treasures. Such charts could reveal locations of German-laid mines around Britain's coastlines, but this narrative, gripping as it is, unravels further layers of intrigue. Was the barrage of depth charges truly the only method the British had to retrieve these coveted documents? Some accounts suggest an alternative. That a British diver actually reached the sunken vessel. Stephen Fisher, an esteemed maritime historian, alluded to this possibility in a statement associated with the University of Southampton's 2020 expedition concerning UC-47. Fisher elaborated, highlighting the significance of the submarine's sinking. The day after her loss, UC-47 is believed to have been inspected by Royal Navy divers who potentially retrieved invaluable intelligence, notably code books and charts. As the pandemic restrictions ease, allowing access to more historical resources, combined with the detailed imagery of the wreck, we may eventually determine if UC-47 did indeed receive underwater visitors in November 1917. The Smithsonian, through its detailed report in August 2020, brings forth a perspective that questions the widely held belief regarding the 1917 diving expedition to UC-47. The institution contends that the depth of 150 feet might have posed insurmountable challenges to the diving technology and techniques prevalent during that period. Yet, the narrative of a dive to the ill-fated submarine shortly after its sinking remains persistent and is affirmed by other reliable sources, creating a historical conundrum that sparks intrigue and debate. Kendall MacDonald's comprehensive 2003 work titled The Tin Openers delves deeper into this mystery. A prominent British author and diver, MacDonald meticulously narrates the episode involving the 1917 dive to UC-47. He paints a vivid picture of a Royal Navy diver, Dusty Miller, equipped with the era's characteristic hard helmet, navigating through the U-boat's conning tower hatch. As he penetrated further into the control room, he allegedly encountered a metal box of immeasurable significance, housing codes, logs, and the indispensable charts depicting two minefields. Offering an additional layer of validation to the theory of Miller's daunting descent to UC-47 is the 1993 exploration led by Sean Carr. While recounting his own journey into the sunken U-boat, Carr observed a peculiar detail. The conning tower hatch remained ajar, just as Miller was purported to have left it post his dive. This open hatch, over time, facilitated the influx of silt, leading to the control room's inundation. Warrant shipwright Ernest Charles Dusty Miller's existence isn't a matter of fiction or mere speculation. Historically, Miller's role in salvage operations during the First World War is well documented. Validating his diving prowess further, the proceedings of the 24th Annual Diving Conference in 2014 recount a feat where Miller dived to a staggering depth of 21 fathoms, or 126 feet, in 1918 to investigate another submarine located off Cornwall. This depth is strikingly close to the 150 feet where UC-47 rests, making his dive to the latter seem plausible. Interestingly, The Independent highlights a peculiar absence. Despite exhaustive research, there seem to be no formal records hinting at the extraction of crucial intelligence from UC-47. Yet, on the other end of the spectrum, certain German naval intelligence echelons harbored the conviction that British divers did manage to appropriate essential documents. The corridors of the German wartime archives may potentially hold the key to unraveling this enigma conclusively. Amidst a web of theories and counter-theories, Dr. Pacheco Ruiz's 2020 expedition provides a tangible, awe-inspiring testament to UC-47's legacy. A century and 3 years post the cataclysmic collision with a British patrol boat, contemporary technology enables us to behold the aftermath. The exquisite three-dimensional visualizations, rendered through cutting-edge scanning instruments, breathe life into this submerged relic. Given its century-long submersion, UC-47's preservation is nothing short of miraculous. Paying silent homage to the 28 submariners who met their fate within, this war grave astonishingly retains its hull's entirety. The scars of its fateful encounter with P-57, especially a cavernous breach, bear testimony to the historical event. Not too far from the main vessel, a detached torpedo tube solemnly lies in repose. The quest for clarity regarding UC-47's invaluable cargo seems to be drawing to a close. The crux of the British's fervent pursuit appears to be the intelligence on minefield locations safeguarded within the submarine's control room. Equipped with this knowledge, the potential for the Royal Navy to thwart multiple maritime disasters would have exponentially surged. Contemplating the broader ramifications, one can't help but ponder the possibility that securing those clandestine documents from UC-47's depths might have significantly swayed the war's trajectory. The sheer thought that a successful German naval blockade, powered by their submarines and minefields, could have reshaped the socio-political landscape of 20th century Europe is both humbling and daunting. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.